Virginia City, Nevada in 1872 was the center of a fabulously rich gold and silver mining area. This area was called the Comstock Lode. At the time, Virginia City was one of the largest and richest cities in the American West. To the north of Virginia City was the little town of Reno. A railroad ran north from Virginia City to Reno. Then the railroad ran west from Reno to San Francisco, California. The railroad to San Francisco was owned by the Central Pacific. The short railroad that ran between Reno and Virginia City was owned by the Virginia and Truckee Railroad Company. It was a short line, but a very profitable one. It carried the wide assortment of supplies needed in the mining area. It also carried a huge amount of gold and silver ore out. The Virginia and Truckee Railroad made most of its money carrying freight. However, it also provided passenger service. The locomotive number 11, nicknamed the Reno, pulled the first scheduled passenger train from Reno to Virginia City in 1872. The Reno was used almost exclusively to pull the express passenger trains between Reno and Virginia City. Other locomotives were used to pull the freight trains. Today it doesn't look like it, but in 1872 the Reno and other locomotives like it were the fastest means of transportation on Earth. The Reno had a top speed of 50 miles per hour. Originally, the Reno was a wood burner. Wood would be piled high on its tender car. In 1876, it was converted to coal. In 1907, it was converted to an oil burner. In July 1937, the Reno was retired from regular railroad service after 65 years of use. In September 1937, the Reno began its second career as a movie prop. It would be used by various Hollywood studios in many of the Western movies they made. In September 1937, it made its first appearance in a movie titled Courage of the West. The Reno, over the next 70 years, would appear in 100 movies and television shows. It would also appear in numerous TV commercials. All these appearances have gotten the Reno the reputation of being the most filmed locomotive in history. The Reno is currently on display at the old Tucson Studios at Tucson, Arizona. On the side of its tender car is painted the number 119. This is the result of one of the Reno's acting roles. It was the stand-in for the Union Pacific locomotive number 119 in the Gold Spike Centennial at Promontory, Utah in 1969. However, when the Reno was a real working locomotive with the Virginia and Truckee Railroad, it was number 11. You can still see number 11 on one side of the headlight and on the front of the locomotive. Examples of movies the Reno appeared in are as follows: Union Pacific, starring Joel McCrea and Barbara Stanwyck, 1939. Annie, Get Your Gun, Betty Hutton and Howard Keel, 1950. The Horse Soldier, starring John Wayne and William Holden, 1959. Joe Kidd, starring Clint Eastwood, 1972. Tombstone, starring Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer, 1993. The movie Wild Wild West, starring Will Smith and Selma Hayek, 1999. Some of the TV shows it appeared in are Rawhide, Gunsmoke, Little House on the Prairie, and the TV show The Wild Wild West.